We are live right here in the Tar Heel State for round number 7 of the Elite Seniors Racing Championship Asphalt Touring Series presented by RaceMRL.com. I am your host for the evening, Tim Dayton, joined by myself in the booth tonight. That's it, just me. Back for another one here at the beautiful North Wilkesboro Speedway, the newly rejuvenated North Wilkesboro Speedway, for 100 laps on tap. And it should be a good one. Of course, tons of racing action here tonight. Multi-groove racing, hopefully. But should be a good one. So get your snacks, get your popcorn, get everything you need for tonight's racing action. Should be an enjoyable race for everybody involved as we take a look at Brett McCoy. Currently top of the charts at the moment, Keith Kincaid with a 18.978. He's currently on the racetrack right in front of Brett McCoy, actually. 14 minutes left in practice, so like I said, get your snacks, get your popcorn, sweet treats, anything you would like to eat tonight. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Of course, I said 100 laps, 15 cars on the property at the moment, but with 13 minutes left, we could get some more. Bob Belshaw, nice lap, 19.206. As we're going to take a quick look at last week's winner here in the RaceMRL.com Ruck Offshore number 24 machine. Of course, your winner at the Martinsville Speedway last week, it is Kyle Adams. Kyle, a solid racer all around. And he's got a lot of events for the Misfit Racing League coming up. Of course, yesterday night we had the Misfit Summer Series on V-Speed. That was a fun affair for those drivers at the Oxford Speedway, at the Oxford Plains Speedway, for 150 laps. Go back and watch that on the V-Speed official network if you are interested. So we're going to take a look at a new guy here for the series. In the Team Holloway Racing and Graphics PT Speed Shop number 4 out of Peoria, Illinois, it is Drew Craig. Beautiful number 4 scheme, nice and simple. Something different that you really don't see too often here. As he comes out of turn number 4 to begin his lap here. Currently sitting 14th out of 15 cars. Gonna have to pick it up as Kyle and Keith are catching him big time here. Thank you all for tuning in. If you like the racing you're seeing tonight, visit www.racemrl.com/ESRC for more information on how to register, as well as some of the other series that are going on as well. But while we have a moment, I'm going to take a look at our upcoming schedule of events. August 24th, this coming Monday night, the Elite Seniors Racing Championship Dirt Late Model Tour, live and in color here on the DRN at the wonderful Federated Auto Parts Speedway, also known as I-55. Then we're headed off for this series on Wednesday nights, August 26th at the Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida for 100 laps on tap for that event. Then we head August 31st to Weedsport, a track I've never personally been to on the sim. I have seen races there in real life, not in person. But excited for that race coming up this coming, 2 weeks from now on that Monday. Then that week they head to the South Boston Speedway in Virginia for 100 laps, September 2nd, and then rounding out the Dirt Late Model Tour, we go to the Big E in Ohio, the Eldora Speedway, owned by Tony Stewart, on September 7th to wrap up the Dirt Late Model Tour, and of course 200 laps at the Nashville Fairgrounds that following Wednesday night for the finale of season number 5 to wrap up the festivities for season number 5. So all of course, right here on the DRN. Tons of racing action, tons of stuff going on. Stay tuned, because we are ready to go for 100 laps. There's still 15 cars. I'm going to take a look at Scott King Swan for the moment. In the King Audio Morrissey Racing Incorporated Ho-Chunk Gaming Beloit left-hander performance number 155 out of Madison, Wisconsin, that would be Scott King Swan. Beautiful racing machine, always has a nice paint scheme on that 155. As while we have a moment, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Team Holloway Racing Graphics is your one-stop vinyl shop. We specialize in RC racing of all scales. We do full-size race cars as well. Have a sign that needs done, vehicles lettered, we can do it. PT Speed Shop. We rebuild quarter-scale motors, break them in, dyno them, and get you back to victory lane. We have a parts store opening soon. Check it out at ptspeedshop.com. Check us out at teamholloway.com. We would love to take care of your vinyl needs.
And we are back. While we have a moment, we're going to send it down trackside for the singing of tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Big thank you to Simon Adams for singing tonight's rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, our United States national anthem. As continuing to look at practice here, Chris Reinald running his retro scheme tonight, the Mark Martin American Speed Association paint scheme from, I believe it was 86, from his 86 or 87 championship from the ASA. Glad to see that car back out here. Won the retro paint night at Hickory a couple weeks ago. And Brett McCoy running another paint scheme tonight. In the Finnegan's RP Nielsen Racing left-hander chassis, Rapco brakes, all car on a move. Number 1 machine out of Poplar Grove, Illinois. It is the man, the myth, the legend they call, and your season opener winner, Brett McCoy. Won at the New Smyrna Speedway to start off the year. Currently second on the board at the moment with a 19.241. Right, his best time is actually 19.004. We'll look at Keith Kincaid, my apologies. And speaking of Keith, we're going to look at the points for the Elite Asphalt Touring Series Season 5 after 6 of 10 of races this season. Kincaid leads by a total of 5 points over the man we were just looking at, Brett McCoy. Currently sitting third in the point standings with 10 points back is Chris Farmer. Rob Cassidy, 11 points back, only 1 point back behind that third position. Looking to gain on him tonight. Ed Papineau currently sits 5th in points, 18 points back from Keith. 22 points back is Bob Belshaw. In 6th, Kyle Adams, who your winner this season at Martinsville, 23 points back. Mark Ozier, who is here tonight in the 20 machine, currently 8th in the point standings, tied with Andy Patton, the general himself, both 30 points back. Frank Barbary currently sits 10th in points, 32 points back. Chris Hall, 11th in points, 35 back from the leader. 39 back is Scott Kingswan. Tim McDowell tied with Greg Parmalee for that 13th spot in points, both 41 points back of the leader. Sorry about that. As we continue the points, Chris Reinald currently 15th in points, lost 6 spots after the last race. Want top 5 to his credit this season. Got Tice just behind him in the 16th spot, 64 points back in 8th. Rem Wyatt and Ben Gunther, 17th and 18th. Mike Fudge, 19th. Paul Covington, 20th in points. 21st is David Brill. Todd Holloway in 22nd. Aaron Hoffman in 22nd. And then Robert Keller and Quinn McLean both share that 24th spot in points for the moment. As like I said, 100 laps on tap. Get comfy. Enjoy your whatever food you have here tonight. It should be a good night for racing. Currently a second left in practice. That means we are going to go to qualifying here. Presented by RaceMRL.com. Of course, besides the aforementioned Elite Seniors Racing Championship upcoming events we have, as well as October 6th, we start our broadcast coverage of the Kings Modified Tour as well. Should be a great series for some racing action. As we're going to look at somebody who we rarely look at. In the 007 machine, Skull Bandit car, it is Chris Hall going for his first time lap. Into 1 and 2. A little slow into 1 and 2. Heads to the back straightaway. Into 3 and 4 to complete his first time lap this evening. Lap number 1. A 20.196 or 186, putting him fourth for the moment. Currently top of the board, 19.134. Brad Papp. Nice to see Papineau back. He had some strong runs this year. USA, he had a great run. New Smyrna, he had a great run. He got taken out, unfortunately, at the U.S. There's another car we relatively don't look at usually. In the Arkham Setup Shop Fastlane Motorsports number 26 machine out of Daytona, Florida. It is Frank Barbary in that beautiful green and black number 26. Of course, like I said, 15 cars on the property this evening. One making his season debut. Heading through 1 and 2. Onto the back straightaway. Into 3 and 4 for Barbary and his first time lap. That'll put him 8th quick. 19.564. Brett McCoy puts in a 9.62. 19.632, I'm sorry. Currently top of the board, 19.041 for Keith Kincaid. Lap number 2. Put him 5th quick, 19.231. Brett McCoy currently 2nd quick, 19.046. As we look at the RaceMRL.com Ruck Offshore machine for the man himself, Kyle Adams. That beautiful Save Our Seas Ruck Offshore paint scheme. Can he knock off Keith? That is the question. First time on the board for Kyle Adams. 10th quick, 19.423 for Adams here. Through 3 and 4. Coming to the checkered flag. Top of the board, 19,002. 19,002 for the RaceMRL.com machine of Kyle Adams. Peyton Craig Curley, 12th quick, 19,454. I believe that will end his qualifying here this evening. So that will put Kyle Adams top of the time sheets for this evening's 100-lap event. Keith Kincaid, second in time, 19,041. Only 13 cars have qualified out of the 15 on the property here tonight. I believe Ossier and Tim McDowell are the only two guys to not take time so far. As we get to your starting lineup for this evening's event, presented by, once again, RaceMRL.com. Rolling off in position number 1 in the RaceMRL.com Ruck Offshore number 24 machine, it is Kyle Adams. In the Flamin' Hot Cheetos K2 Motorsports Elite Seniors Racing Championship, number 17 for Keith Rocky Top Kincaid out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Row number 2 brings to you the Finnegan's RV and Nielsen Racing left-hander chassis Repco Brakes All-Car Automotive number 1 out of Poplar Grove, Illinois. It is Brett McCoy alongside the number 01 machine of Ed Papino. Row number 3 brings to you the King Audio Morrissey Racing Incorporated Ho-Chunk Gaming left-hander performance number 155 out of Madison, Wisconsin. It is Scott King Swan. Alongside him in the Arkham Setup Shop Fastlane Motorsports number 26 machine out of Daytona, Florida, that would be Frank Barbary. Row number 4 brings you the concrete pressure lifting out of Lakeview, Minnesota. Number 44 out of Rosemont, Minnesota. It is Bob Belshaw. Alongside him in the Dungeon of Speed, the Sim Down, number 31 out of Chilhowie, Virginia. That would be Chris Farmer. Row number 5 brings you the number 60 of Rem Wyatt, then Rob Cassidy alongside in the RD Ranch number 68 machine. In the next row, it would be Chris Reinald in that beautiful Mark Martin ASA car alongside Drew Craig. After them, Chris Hall and Mark Osier. Then rounding out the field would be Tim McDowell in the number 45. Coming to the green flag to start off 100 laps for the late model stocks green flag in the air. Kyle Adams and Keith Kincaid lead them to the flag through turns 1 and 2. Everybody keeps it green down the back straightaway. As a battle for third between Brett McCoy and Ed Papino starts to appear. Brett McCoy takes it off of turn number 4. As Kyle Adams leads the way early on in tonight's event. As a gaggle of cars in the back of the field, Drew Craig and Rob Cassidy currently fighting for that 11th spot on the raceway. Tim McDowell around on the racetrack. I believe that is turn number 2. I'm sorry, that's turn number 4. I apologize. No caution flag. Gonna keep it going here on the raceway. Kyle Adams gonna lead lap number 3. Heads to lap number 4. Bob Belshaw makes a pass for Chris Farmer, and Chris Farmer battling back with Bob Belshaw there for that position side by side for the 6th position on the racetrack. Oh, and around goes, I believe that's Drew Craig, and Ozhier is in it as well. Caution is out on the racetrack. Drew Craig and the Team Holloway Racing and Graphics number 4 machine goes around. Let's take a look at the RD Ranch replay and see what happened. Yeah, was battling with Rob Cassidy there, heading into the corner, and maybe Drew Craig just lost it. Nah, Rob helped him a little bit there, and Ozier just had nowhere to go. It's unfortunate for that 20 car. Gonna go on board here with the 20 machine on the roof cam. And yeah, he had nowhere to go. He just couldn't really miss that accident, unfortunately, for the 20 machine involved in a wreck early on. But Drew Craig bringing out our first caution of tonight's proceedings on lap number 5 of 100 here on the DRN. Thank you. Quick shout out to RD Ranch and Livestock for their continued support and replay sponsorship here this season. Kyle Adams leads the way through most of tonight's feature event. 15 cars still on the racetrack after just 5 laps of green flag racing. As we get a great look at that beautiful spotter stand in turn number 4. Kyle Adams and Keith Kincaid going to double up this time by. iRacing pace car shuts its lights off. We will be going to the green flag for restart number 1, hopefully the only restart of tonight's event. Beautiful shot here from our producers in the box as they head to the restart zone for restart number 1, hopefully the only one here tonight. Green flag in the air for restart number 1 on lap number 10. Brett McCoy to the inside of Keith Kincaid on this restart. And gonna slot back in the line. There's a gaggle of cars back here for that 5th position at the moment. Scott Kingswan looks underneath that number 31 machine. Still looks to the outside, makes a little contact going into turn number 3. That King Audio number 55 goes around on the front straightaway, hard into the inside wall. Gonna keep it going. We have a side-by-side battle, or was a side-by-side battle, between Chris Reinald and Rob Cassidy. As King Swan not able to turn now. As up front, Keith Kincaid, Kyle Adams, and Brett McCoy, the top 3. It looks for some trouble for Chris Reinald. Going to secede the position to Frank Barbary. Barbary goes a little wide. Passes them both. Does Chris Reinald, and Rob Cassidy looks to do the same. He does. Clears them off of turn number 1. Chris Hall looking to do the same as well. Tim McDowell off the track for a moment. A side-by-side in the further back for Mark Osier. As the 68 ran super good at Martinsville. Rob finished second, but it looks like some trouble here for Barbary. On lap number 15, as we head back to the leaders as they head into turn 1 and 2. For lap number 16, Marbury in the pit lane at the moment. Not sure if he will be there to fix some damage or he'll be out of the race. We'll have to see. As he gets lapped by the field for the first time here tonight. As a battle heats up for position number 2 on the racetrack, Brett McCoy and Keith Kincaid going at it. Much like the battle at New Smyrna, but it was swapped around at the start of the year. Oh, Keith Kincaid looks to the inside a little bit of Kyle Adams. Everybody single file early on. As we look to continue to lap number 20, Kyle Adams leads the first 20 here of tonight's feature event. But Keith right on his back bumper. Here, Brett also on the back bumper of that Flamin' Hot Cheetos number 17 machine. And it looks like the first 6 cars have just pulled away from the rest of the field. Bob Belshaw, the last car in that little pack. I believe it's a ways away, about maybe a second or two to that number 60 machine of Rem Wyatt. Currently 3 seconds back of the leader, Kyle Adams. As to the inside goes Keith Kincaid. Not going to make the move in turn 1 and 2. As they're still battling here, it's Brett McCoy running a little higher than Keith, I've seen, and going lower out of the corner in turn number 4. And I heard a couple drivers in practice mention, especially Kyle said it himself to me earlier in the night, that it was going to be a tire-saving race. Definitely got to preserve that right front and the left rear of that machine. Oh, Brett McCoy dives to the inside. Not going to make it stick, as Keith tried it as well. Not going to happen. The top 4 breaking away from Chris Farmer and Bob Belshaw. As whoa, heavy send from Ed Papineau in the 0-1. Keith tags the wall just a little bit. Really trying to get past Kyle here. But Adams just so consistent like he was last week. Brett McCoy uses all of the racetrack he can, using the apron a little bit there to try and get to Kincaid. Drew Craig passes Mark Oos here for that 12th spot on the racetrack. Almost, it looked like 3 wide, but from the way we were looking at it. Continuing, and Brett McCoy dives to the inside. Not going to happen. Doors the number 17 machine, and that's going to cost them. Ed Papineau around the outside for that 3rd position. Untimely mistake for the number 1 machine. Slowed down Keith a little bit, and Kyle was probably going to be happy that they were going to do that. Keith Kincaid looks to the inside this time side by side into turn 3 and 4. Who will lead lap number 30? It's going to go to Kyle Adams off of corner number 4. As getting really aggressive, but Keith not going to make the pass this time by, as Ed Papino looks for that second position. As they head into 1 and 2. Going to take a look at the onboard of one Ed Papino. Here, watching the battle for the lead as they are side by side coming off of corner number 4. Kyle Adams gets a huge run on the top side. Side by side. Oh, they make contact. Kyle Adams going to pull away there as Ed Papino goes to the outside of the number 17 machine. Not going to make the pass, but Brett McCoy to the inside of the 01. Not going to make that stick. Papino looked to go to the inside as Keith and Kyle continue to battle. Here's McCoy, goes to the inside of the 01 machine for that third spot. Going to clear him off of corner number 3. And off of 4, crossover not going to happen, as Keith looks to continue to hunt down Kyle Adams for that first position on the racetrack. Into 3 and 4 once again. Keith going to try it again. Lap number 36, who was going to lead it? Looks to be Kyle once again off of corner number 4. But Keith still on the quarter panel in 1 and 2. Gonna clear him. Kyle gonna clear him off of corner number 2. Brett McCoy looked a little bit to the inside there. Rem Wyatt by himself in the 7th position. Chris Reinhold also there as well. Not really any battles here on the racetrack for the moment. But yes, a battle for the second position. Brett McCoy looks to the inside of Keith. They pull side by side down the back straightaway. Kyle loves what he's seeing in his mirror right now for sure. As Brett gets to the inside, Kyle Adams continues to lead as we click off lap number 39. Lap number 38. Brett McCoy to the inside of the number 17 machine. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Keith clips the wall just a little bit. Gonna allow Brett to go by. No! Brett pinched him just a little bit off of corner number 4. Getting a little impatient here is McCoy. Gonna slot back in for that third position. Gonna try it one more time. Sends it into 3. Gets Keith Kincaid loose. Yellow flag on the racetrack for Keith Kincaid. Brett just nudged him just a little bit. And that sent the number 17 machine around. Or almost around, but caution is still out on the racetrack. Let's take a look at what happened there. Yes, side by side. Brett sends a lunge into turn number 3. And just gets into him just a little bit. Unfortunate for that 17 machine of Keith Kincaid. On the pit lane now, almost everybody, except for I believe Kyle Adams, Chris Farmer, and Bob Belshaw, has entered the pit lane. Keith Kincaid as well pulls down pit road. Currently going to get right sides on that machine. Brett McCoy leaves the pit lane. Going to be first one off of the pits. Or first one out of the pits for him. And Keith Kincaid leaves the pit lane as well. Bob Belshaw going to be second on the racetrack when we go back green flag racing. Brett McCoy comes out in the third spot. Keith Kincaid in the fourth spot. So right next to Brett McCoy on the restart on the outside. Going to continue that battle in the early going of this race for the number 1 and the number 17. . doubled up on the racetrack this time by. Lights out on the iRacing pace car. Field doubles up on the back straightaway. iRacing pace car are going to pull down the pit lane for the second time tonight. Kyle Adams, Bob Belshaw on the front row. Coming to the green flag. Once again, Kyle Adams fires off. Brett McCoy pulls to the inside of Bob Belshaw on the restart. To the inside, Brett McCoy for position number 2. As further back, Rob Cassidy to the inside of Rem Wyatt for that 6th spot. Ed Papano to the inside, Chris Farmer to the inside of Ed Papano on the racetrack as well. Chris Reinald just in front of them as Bob Belshaw and Keith Kincaid going at it here for that 3rd position. Keith looking to get to the 1 machine, who is right on the heels of the 24 machine of Kyle Adams. Kyle didn't take tires that time by. Bob Belshaw going to secede the position to Keith Kincaid. As currently in 5th is Chris Reinald. New leader here in tonight's feature event. It is going to be Brett McCoy leading a lap here tonight. Side by side in turn number 4. Yellow flag is out. Drew Craig brings out your 3rd caution of the evening on the front straightaway. I'm sorry, your 3rd caution of tonight's event. As we're going to take a quick look at the RD Ranch replay, see what happened there. As I believe Drew Craig just spun by himself here going out on the front straightaway. Did it earlier in the night. Yeah, went up a little too high, got loose, and around he went. Wild ride for that number 4 machine. Unfortunate for Drew Craig in the 4. Team Holloway Racing and Graphics entry. PT Speed Shop also on board of that machine. As Kyle Adams currently on the pit lane. Scored in the 10th spot. Bob Belshaw also went to take tires. Frank Barbary still on the pit road. Still on the pit lane. Kyle Adams pulls back onto the racetrack. Just behind Drew Craig in the number 4 machine. Goes here a lap down on the racetrack in 14th. Tim McDowell also a lap down in 13th. Bob Belshaw, the last car on the lead lap, as he rejoins the field. Currently single file here for this restart. Had a great run there, for sure. Only a couple laps before Drew Craig brought out the caution to bring them all back together. Of course, the caution before that was Brett McCoy and Keith Kincaid, who are currently on the front row getting together. Brett got together with Keith, spun him out in turn number 4. Has a beautiful field of 15 strong. Currently 14 strong, only one car out of the race so far. As they head into turn number 3, turn number 4. Green flag back in the air. Brett McCoy leads them to the restart zone. Chris Reinald looks to the inside of Kincaid. Not going to make it happen with Kyle Adams. The story currently led most of the race from the lead. Only just lost it to Brett McCoy here. Side by side with Scott Kingswan for the 8th spot on the racetrack. As single file, top 3 We have Rem Wyatt and Rob Cassidy for that fourth position at the moment. Rob Cassidy looking to pass the 60 machine. As Ed Papino and Chris Farmer behind him. That's Kyle Adams in the number 24 machine. Just behind them in the 8th spot. Chris Farmer losing spots. Rob Cassidy currently in the 4th position. Top 3 single filed out. As a battle for the 6th position on the racetrack. Kyle maybe looking to make it go 3 wide. Not going to make that move. Chris Farmer and Rem Wyatt continue to battle for that 5th spot. As up front, Brett McCoy continues to lead. Only 10 laps on the board. He has led tonight for that left-hander chassis Rapco Brakes number 1 machine. Out of Poplar Grove, Illinois. As he continues to lead tonight's event. Chris Reinald currently sitting in the 3rd spot with Rob Cassidy in the 4th spot. Battle is for 5th and 7th as Kyle Adams gets a little loose going up the racetrack. That allows Scott Kingswan to gain some time on them. As well, Kyle Adams looks to the inside as everybody single files out here. Chris Farmer goes up the racetrack. And Ed Papino goes around on the front straightaway to bring out your 4th caution of tonight's feature. Papino goes around on the racetrack to bring out the caution. As he was battling with Kyle Adams. Yeah, went to go, saw Chris Farmer was going a little high. Ed Papino went to go under him and did a lot of the same things that Drew Craig did coming off of that corner. Just unfortunate for that machine. As while we have the moment, we will be right back after this short commercial break. As we are back right here on the DRN, thank you for your patience. As currently sitting on the pit lane is Ed Papino in the 01 machine, getting left side tires on the 01. As Keith and Brett double them up this time by for the restart. Of course, Ed Papino, that 01 machine, was the cause of your 4th caution here tonight. iRacing pace car dives down pit road as they head into turn number 3 and 4 to the restart zone. Once again, Brett McCoy fires off. Into 1 and 2. McCoy, currently your leader. in the number 1 machine. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties on our end. As lap number 68 ticks off onto lap number 69. As Brett McCoy still your leader. As we click off the lap number 69 onto 70. Chris Reinold, currently 3rd position on the racetrack. Kyle Adams hounding him for that spot as well. Looking to the inside on Reinold as Keith Kincaid looks to the inside of Brett McCoy. Not going to make it happen just in front of them. As Reinold currently battles with Kyle Adams, who's on the outside. Kyle been strong all night long on that top side. And going to easily make the pass on the number 71 machine of Reinold. Kyle in the RaceMRL.com Ruck Offshore, number 24. Led the most laps tonight. 28 laps to go on the board now for Brett McCoy. As him and Keith continue to lead the way. Top 3, Brett McCoy, Keith Kincaid, and Kyle Adams. As a battle further back in the field, Drew Craig, Mark Osier. Osier and Chris Hall in the 20 and the 007 respectively. As Kyle Adams currently sits in 3rd position. Chris Reinold and Rob Cassidy and Rem Wyatt all battling for position number 4 on the racetrack. Rob Cassidy dives to the inside but gets blocked by Chris Reinold, who's also on that inside line. Going to secede the position of Rem Wyatt. Wyatt around the outside of Chris Reinold. As Cassidy being held up big time by the 71 machine. To the inside goes Cassidy. Looks, almost did what Brett did to Keith there in the late going of this race. As further back, Chris Farmer looks to the inside of Rob Cassidy. Going to run to the same issue that Cassidy had with Chris Reinold on the inside, blocking that inside lane as they are double side by side. And further back, Ed Papineau and Bob Belshaw. Papineau currently 5 laps down in the 14th spot. My apologies. As Adams looks to catch Kincaid and McCoy. Speaking of Kincaid and McCoy, as Chris Farmer and Rob Cassidy get into it to bring out your caution with 23 laps to go. Your 5th caution of tonight's event. Ignore that it says first. We will continue to go on the RD Ranch replay here. Big thank you to RD Ranch for sponsoring the replay. And yeah, Rob just got a little too aggressive, and Pink Swan got a piece of that as well. Unfortunate for that 31 machine getting caught in an incident like that. Cassidy currently on the pit lane, because it looks like McCoy actually pitted here. Brett McCoy, Keith Kincaid, and Kyle Adams hit. So whoever is going to be a leader this time by, as Keith Kincaid gets out of the pits, beating Brett McCoy. Kyle Adams comes out third, as Bob Belshaw and Ed Papineau currently the lead cars, but Papineau currently 5 laps down in fourth. So Drew Craig, the second place car on the racetrack. But once green flag pit stops cycle out, once caution flag pit stops cycle out, Keith Kincaid is going to shuffle to the lead, currently sitting in the 5th spot. As Rem Wyatt takes a... Ooh, I thought he was going to go down pit road, but I believe he's just letting the field by here on the back straightaway. If you like what you see, continue to check us out here. Give us a like and a follow and a subscription here on the DRN. As Chris Farmer currently stopped on the back straightaway. Probably to let the field by. iRacing pace car dips down the pit lane. Into the restart zone once again. Belshaw lets him loose. Green flag in the air for Bob Belshaw. 17 laps to go on the board. Mark Osier looks to pass Craig and Osier into the wall with the 4 as well of Drew Craig. Big stack up here. Chris Hall involved. Ed Papineau, unfortunately, in it. That will bring out your 6th caution of tonight's event for the 4 and the 20. As let's take a look here at what brought out the caution. Yeah, they were side by side for that second position, and it looks like Osier just maybe didn't know the 4 was there still, and unfortunate, man. Unfortunate for that machine. Big thank you to RD Ranch for sponsoring tonight's replays here on the DRN. As didn't even get through a lap before we were back under the caution flag of tonight's feature event with 17 laps to go at the moment of caution. As I believe that will cycle out to be Bob Belshaw and Keith Kincaid on the front row. Brett McCoy and Kyle Adams, row number 2. Bob Belshaw and Keith Kincaid going to double up this time by. And the 20 getting the... That was a really late waiver for that 20. He's got to go quick here if he wants to be able to catch the field. Probably not going to, as the 6th caution period goes by here. On the restart here for Keith Kincaid. A green flag back in the air for Bob Belshaw, as Kyle Adams gonna maybe look to the outside of Keith Kincaid. Please do not go 3 wide. 12 laps to go on the board. Big stack up there. Bob Belshaw to the inside of Kyle Adams. Brett McCoy looks to try and find a way around him as Scott Kingswan and Chris Reinhold fight back there for that 5th position on the racetrack. Kincaid leads the way. Kyle Adams in position number 2. Looking to try and find a way around on that number 17 machine. 11 laps to go. Coming to 10 laps to go. Lap number 90 clicks off. I'm sorry, 89 clicks off for these late model stock cars. Brett McCoy takes that third spot away from Bob Belshaw. As King Swan and Chris Reinald going at it for the fifth spot still. As coming to 9 laps to go this time by. To the inside goes Kyle Adams. Not going to happen. 8 laps to go on the board. Coming to 7 laps to go. Can Kyle Adams track him down and get a second win in a row this season, or will Kincaid show why he is the dominant car in the series? Bob Belshaw continues to sit in position number 4. As into 3 and 4, Kyle smacks the wall just a little bit. Coming off of the corner, 5 laps to go here for Kincaid. Kyle may be thinking about sending it here. Can he make it stick? Is the question. Coming to 4 laps to go here for Kincaid. On that beautiful ruck offshore on board. Kyle looks to the inside. Going to hit the brakes a little bit there. That lost him a lot of momentum off the corner. 3 laps to go here for Kincaid. Kyle getting to the back bumper once again. 2 laps to go for the 17 machine. Into 3 and 4. Coming to the white flag, presented by RaceMRL.com. And the caution is out on the racetrack. I believe no. Kyle Adams looks to send it to 3 and 4. Not going to be enough. The old man could teach the kids some new tricks. Kyle Adams, Keith Kincaid, fight to the line. Kincaid victorious here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Jumble of words there as Kyle Adams takes home the second position. Brett McCoy in third, Bob Belshaw fourth, Scott Kingswan for 5, Chris Reinald for 6th. 7th is Rob Cassidy, Rem Wyatt 8th, Tim McDowell, strong finish in 9th. Chris Hall in 10th, Mark Ozier in 11th. 12th is Chris Farmer, Drew Craig in 13th. 5 laps down, and 14th is Ed Papano, and rounding out the field out of the race is Frank Marbury. As we will be right back to talk with your top 3 finishers in Team Holloway Racing and Graphics Victory Lane after this break.
Team Holloway Racing and Graphics is your one-stop vinyl shop. We specialize in RC racing of all scales. We do full-size race cars as well. Have a sign that needs done, vehicles lettered, we can do it. PT Speed Shop. We rebuild quarter-scale motors, break them in, dyno them, and get you back to victory lane. We have a parts store opening soon. Check it out at ptspeedshop.com. Check us out at teamholloway.com. We would love to take care of your vinyl needs.
As we are here in the Team Holloway Racing and Graphics Victory Lane, here with your third place finisher here tonight, Brett. How important was it tonight for saving the right front and the right? I'm sorry, the right front and the right rear here for tire saving.
Yeah, this place grinds the tires off. So you gotta. I mean, you can't. The weird thing is you don't slow down a ton. It gets squirrely, right? So saving them was to a point. You had to do it, but with 3 cars, at least the 3 of us that were up front as fast as we were, I mean, you can only save so much, right? So it was fun. I came down to, I got into Keith there racing. We were racing. The top 3 were racing each other hard, and Ed was in there too. And we got together and he spun but we come back out. It worked out okay. Damn, those last 2 restarts, I was just 1 car off in the wrong line, and it ended up biting me because we were by far the fastest car there those last 5 laps.
Yeah, you were running out front a little bit there, and you led a decent amount of laps here tonight. No, overall a great night for you.
I can't complain at all.
Yeah,
definitely, it was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely a little better than your last couple weeks, and it's a great bounce back for you. Any family, friends, sponsors you'd like to thank here for tonight's third place finish?
First things first, I want to thank Ed Papineau for the great-looking race car. He threw that together for me here. That's a throwback to, I believe, 86, if I'm right. Right in that time frame. Joe Shear's car. It's just got my number on it instead of his. Nielsen Racing, Prototype Racing Engines. Larry Shaw chassis, left-hander. The wife for letting me race, and I just, being this is a seniors league, there's one person that's going to hear this, that's going to get what I'm getting ready to say. Not everybody on Facebook is your friend, and don't accept Zelle payments. And he'll know what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, congratulations on your third place finish here.
All right. And then, thanks for the broadcast and the guys that run the league. Congrats to Keith and Kyle. It was a fun race. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Right. That was your third place finisher here, Brett McCoy. As we are going to talk to your second place finisher here in tonight's 100-lap feature event. Kyle, you were talking to me a little bit about it earlier tonight and how tire saving would be a big thing. Tell us about how your race went with just the tire saving and trying to get back to the lead after the pit stops.
Well, so your mic was breaking up a little bit for me, but I got the gist here. Last race, tires. Yes, big deal. This race, actually, we were just talking about it in the waiting room with Keith. Tires was a big deal here, too. What was cool is we started getting a little bit of different multi-groove racing. 1 and 2, I could run the top and get a good drive out of 2, but 3 and 4, we just could not get that outside to work, so you just kind of had a single file on the bottom. But no, it was a great race. Everybody raced really clean. I got to give a big shout out to both Keith and Brett up here. Brett had me sweating bullets there for a little bit, and Keith was doing everything he could to push me at the beginning of the race to try and burn my stuff up. But no, I big shout out to these guys. They raced really clean, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. You led a solid amount of laps tonight. Definitely some more experience. Not that you need it, but you said it. Brett and Keith were racing you pretty clean, and it was a fantastic battle to watch here on the broadcast. I don't know about what it looked like inside your cockpit, excuse me, but it was definitely a fun race to watch. Any family, friends, sponsors you'd like to shout out here, Kyle?
Yeah, big shout out to Ruck Offshore. New business that's going to be growing out of Pensacola, Florida. They're going to be doing a lot of offshore apparel and fishing apparel, so that'll be coming hopefully at the beginning of 2027. So shout out to them. Shout out to Hot Shot Photography. Shout out to ESRC. Shout out to you for broadcasting. You do a great job. And shout out to all these guys on the track for coming out and racing with the ESRC every week. It is it's an honor to be allowed to come play, and they had me sweating tonight. They were pushing hard, so that's just a good sign of some good racing and some good racers. So it's a good night. I'll take another podium.
Yeah. Lastly, while we got you here, if you want to tell us about some of the upcoming events that Misfit Racing League has going on, you have the floor.
Yeah, really quick. Absolutely. I'll run through it really quick. So we have an event coming up. It is a GT3 and a GTP endurance race, 2.4 hours. That's going to be a paid in and paid out event. October 3rd. Check out that in the Discord. We also have a couple leagues firing up. The Misfit Touring Series, open late models, open setup late models, 10 weeks. We got Trackmaster Sim Series starting back up here in a couple months. King's Modified Tour kicks off here very soon. And lastly, Dirt to Daytona. That starts next month. 6 races, 6 cars, 6 tracks. All fixed racing, free to enter. It's going to be a blast.
All right, well, I'll let you go here, Kyle. Congratulations on your second place finish here tonight.
Thank you.
And the man who has won a solid amount of races this season, 4 to be exact, of the 7 races ran now. Of course, tonight here, Rocky Top, Keith Kincaid. Keith, another one in the books here for you.
Yeah, Tim, what an amazing race. That was action packed from start to the end. My adrenaline is still flowing. That was just amazing racing with Cal and Brett and the rest of the gang. Man, everybody's so stout this year.
Yeah, I know you guys. I heard from Kyle that you guys were talking about it in the interview channel just below me. How important was tire saving tonight for you, Keith?
It was important to a degree, but the cautions were spaced out enough that we were able to get tires, so we never really got down to where it was going to be critical. If we would have stayed green there at the end, that last caution, I think, with 20-something to go, when we came in and got tires, that done away with the tire saving strategy.
Yeah, and as well, you were definitely having a solid battle early on with trying to get Kyle to burn up his stuff. And he was running the outside pretty good. I saw you trying it a little bit, trying to go to different grooves and stuff like that. How enjoyable was that in a racing perspective here, Keith?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Man, we had a good battle, good close racing, good clean racing. Yeah, it's so hard to pass here. You can defend so easily on the outside. So you got to be careful when you're trying to make a move like that and not burn your tires up trying to get around the guy in front of you. So if I got a good run, I would give it a shot. And then if I couldn't get them, I'd just fall back in line and try to save.
Yeah, towards the end of that first run there, you got into a little incident there with Brett. Can you tell us a bit more about that besides him getting into your quarter panel?
Yeah, that was just a racing incident. It was, I think he thought he had his nose there, and I might have come down a little bit, and we just kind of ran out of room and got into each other. That was totally racing incident, so there was nothing intentional there. So just good, close, hard racing.
All right, and lastly, family, friends, sponsors, upcoming events. So let the people know, my friend.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Give a shout out to my parents if they're watching tonight. Give a big shout out to my wife, Natasha. I'd like to thank her for letting me do this and all the other crazy hobbies that I've done over the years. Our great sponsors for the league, Checkered Flag RC Raceway in Kansas, MRL for giving us this platform, RD Ranch, Ruck Offshore, Wiley Raceway, Slot Car Racing, and it's always great to be here in Team Holloway Racing Graphics Victory Lane. Appreciate all Todd does for the league. Couldn't do it without the great guys and all these great racers.
Yeah, we've seen you a lot here in Team Holloway Racing and Graphics Victory Lane, in even the Dirt Tour and in Asphalt as well. Going 4 out of the 6 races, now 7 races, going to be 5 wins on the season. You're coming close to towards the end of the season for points, and you're leading both, but some of those guys are catching you, especially Brett here with a solid another third place finish here tonight. But I'll let you go here, Keith. Congratulations on your victory.
Appreciate it, Tim. Thank you.
And that will wrap up tonight's event here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. We thank you all for tuning in. We will see you on the next Monday for the Elite Seniors Racing Championship Dirt Late Model Tour at the Federated Auto Parts Speedway, also known as I-55, for 35 laps on tap for that feature event. Notify yourself for that event. It's already up on our YouTube page, as well as like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about tonight's broadcast. And if you own a league and would like to be broadcast by the DRN, please message me on Discord at TDayton57. We will see you next time for the Elite Seniors Racing Championship right here on the DCS Racing Network.